Coming up on Greeny Sports Cars Live, we'll talk with iconic tops artist and musician Andy Friedman, plus the latest hobby news and views, along with the weekend's can't miss shows all around the country. All this and more just on the other side.
You make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Well, good evening. Welcome into another episode of Greeny Sports Cards Live. My name is Jeremy Levine, coming to you live from Northeastern Ohio, actually the Cleveland area, and the headquarters of Greeny Sports Cards in Twinsburg, where Greeny will be joining us shortly. We appreciate you joining us, as many of you continue to do week over week, and we have been here now well over 2 years, every Tuesday night, going live with hobby news and insights and interviews and coaches and athletes and entertainers and producers and show updates for the hobby. And tonight is no shortage of that once again. We are very excited to present this show to you this evening. We will welcome in, as usual, our resident hobby insider, Joe Wismirski, for some hobby news. We will get to talk to iconic tops artist and musician Andy Friedman, who will join us this evening. And Andy's going to be joining the Mountain State Collectors Convention as well, coming up May 15th through 17th in Charleston. He's got some really cool stories to share, certainly about his journey, but also what's going to be going on in West Virginia. So very excited to share that with you. We will get to the shows around the country as we do week over week in Card Show Live. And Greeny will take you around the country to, he's got no shortage of shows here in Austin, Texas, Newark, Delaware, Kirtland, Ohio, with another big show here for Greeny, Connecticut, and Herndon, Virginia. So stay tuned for Card Show Live to let you know about all of the big card shows around the country in your neck of the woods. If you'd like to comment on the show, please do so from whatever stream you are watching. You can do so on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn or Twitch, or even if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and comment on the show if you have questions for us or for our guests. We encourage the participation in the show, and that's really what makes this thing go. You guys continuing to tune in week over week and participate, and we truly appreciate that. So before we bring in Greeny here, we're going to get to your hobby quick hits of the week, and we'll give that to you right now. This is the Cinco de Mayo edition, so happy Cinco de Mayo to any of you that are celebrating on Taco Tuesday of all things. So the planets are aligned, and the planets may be aligned for GameStop and eBay. GameStop has formally submitted a $55.5 billion cash and stock offer to acquire eBay, instantly shaking the collectibles marketplace landscape. Rumors started bubbling up last week, and over the weekend, the offer actually went in, and the proposal values eBay at $125 a share. It would merge two of the largest hobby-adjacent platforms, so lots more to come on that for sure. From Card Lines, they are reporting a PSA antitrust lawsuit has been filed. A proposed class action lawsuit seeks to force PSA's parent company to divest SGC and Beckett, alleging anti competitive consolidation in the grading market. All the while, April sets an all time new record for grading. According to Collecting on SI, April saw 3.1 million cards graded, the highest month ever recorded, driven by Pokemon, Shohei Ohtani, and TCG demand. In other big hobby news, Collecticon has been acquired by Ari Emanuel and Mark Shapiro. The massive collectibles convention brand was purchased by Emanuel and Shapiro, signaling a major institutional investment entering the hobby events space. Coincidentally, Collecticon is in Cleveland this coming weekend, ironically enough. Celebrity box opening controversy heats up. Cardlines also reports that growing concerns over celebrity pulls and box steering allegations with Fanatics Live, prompting calls for transparency. And in hockey news, hockey's really heating up with the Stanley Cup playoffs in full swing. They have sparked a rookie market movement. Collectors Daily highlights emerging playoff standouts, including Kirby Dach, seeking immediate hobby interest as the first round intensifies. In other hockey news, Herb Brooks' 1980 Miracle on Ice championship ring has hit Heritage Auction. It's going to hit their spring sports catalog auction. Headlines by a 10-karat gold 1980 Olympic championship ring consigned directly by the Brooks family. It's one of the most historically significant hockey items to reach auction in years. Right on the heels of Wayne Gretzky's 1988 Stanley Cup winning jersey that sold for $2.8 million. His 1988 Cup clinching win set a new public auction record for any hockey jersey. So, lots of interesting stuff bubbling up in the hobby world. More hobby news and views coming up with our resident hobby insider, Joe Wismirski of Phoenix Sports Cards. And with that, let's go ahead and welcome in the man himself, the namesake of Greeny Sports Cards and Greeny Sports Cards Live, Steve Greenberg, aka.
Hey, Jeremy. Yeah, happy Cinco de Mayo. I have my Greeny Rita here, margarita for Cinco de Mayo, and happy to partake in one of the greatest holidays that this week will ever see.
How about that? Landed on a Taco Tuesday for Cinco
Unbelievable.
de Mayo.
Yeah, fantastic. A lot of things going on today.
We got playoff basketball. Cleveland Cavaliers and Detroit Pistons are tipping off tonight, right about now, and we'll follow that closely. Obviously, you've got hockey playoffs. You've got the NFL draft is behind us now, Greeny. You had a couple of interesting shows this past weekend. Touch on TCG Greeny, and you had Kirtland, two distinctly different shows. The TCG Greeny, of course, want to give you credit for establishing what is really the first all Pokemon TCG show in this area. And Green, it's hard to believe that a little over a year ago, I recall you even being a little nervous about and even skeptical whether a separate TCG event could work on its own. And much to your pleasant surprise, that first show had 100 tables, and it has not slowed down. The TCG market is unbelievable.
It is, and I mean they showed up in droves. It was a terrific show Saturday, the TC Greeny show in Broadview Heights. Great time, a lot of deals that were made, and you mentioned in the open the Collecticon that's happening this weekend down at Huntington Bank Convention Center. A lot of the people were preparing for that show, whether they were coming to sell cards so that they could have money for the Collecticon, or vendors were buying more inventory because they're setting up at that show. So I think this show being the week before actually really helped the state of this show. It was really good. And then Sunday we had Twinsburg, which we had at the Glen Eagles Golf Course. And man, what a fun, relaxing show. We had the big screen TV on. It was Kentucky Derby Day. There were some drinks that were there because the bar is open, the golf course is open, golfers came in. So yeah, just a very fun weekend with two really different things, the TCG, and it was more sports on Sunday in Twinsburg.
Very cool stuff. And then certainly we'll get to more card shows around the country here coming up in Card Show Live. But you got a big show, the Mountain State Collectors Convention, coming up May 15th through 17th. Touch on that a little bit, what people can expect. I believe it's upwards of 200 tables at this point and almost sold out.
Yeah, it is. And I was actually on with Dave Weekly, the Metro News West Virginia channel today, talking a little bit about the show. And I mean, he asked the same thing. I mean, he was at the show last year and he said, man, it was big and there was a lot of things. And he said, how do you top that? And we're almost, I think, more than 50 tables more than we had last year. And our broadcast lounge is shaping up. Hopefully in the next couple of days we can announce some guests that will be there that'll partake on the stage. But yeah, I mean, nearly 200 tables, mostly sports, probably 70+% sports. But we do have a couple comic book vendors, so that'll be cool. Some local guys there that do comic books. I think it's going to be about 6 tables of just comic books. So we'll have the TCG section, and we know that there's several of those guys coming and gals, and then a lot of sports. And people ask, is there going to be vintage sports, or vintage cards? But absolutely, we have several vendors that just do vintage. So should be everything. We know our friend Anthony Lewis will be there, helping out with the broadcast lounge. So, man, a lot of fun things to look forward in this state at the Mountain State Collectors Convention in Charleston. So it's Charleston, West Virginia. People ask if there are grading companies coming. We do have GA Grading, who will take submissions for everybody. And we have plenty of other sponsors that I think there's like 20 sponsors that, man, without their help, we couldn't offer the things like the VIP package, or listen, it's $5 to get in the show. There's a lot of big convention center shows that charge, $20-25. I think the parking's only $5 across the street. And I think if you park on the 3rd floor or higher, it's free. So, man, it's a very affordable show. The Charleston Dirty Birds, the independent baseball team, they're going to have a presence there again. They play at home all weekend, so we're gonna go to the game on Saturday night. You have to buy a ticket for the game, so you'll be able to buy them there at the field, the ballpark, Gomart Ballpark, or maybe at their table, because they're going to have a table at the show Friday and Saturday. So, I mean, just so much going on. I can't. It is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that one. Charleston was just continued to surprise the city. Had never been there before last year, and it's the historic district is really cool, and so yeah, looking forward to that one. Green, before we welcome in Joe, you mentioned sponsors. We can't do this show without sponsors either, and we want to thank Dave Cook and his team at Sport Card Auctions and Consignments. If you're looking to turn your sports card collection into serious cash, at Sport Card Auctions, they'll make it simple for you with professional services. You just send them your cards. They'll handle everything. They will they'll list it, they'll package it, they'll ship it. They are the trusted choice for thousands of collectors, whether it's vintage, legends, or modern hits. So start maximizing your collection today with competitive consignment rates and professional service at sportcardauctions.com, where your cards get the spotlight they deserve.
And I think I have cards on Spotlight right now because I sent him a package a little over a week ago. So I know that there's cards up and running, and I can go right to their website and I can actually see my cards in real time where they're at on their eBay auctions.
Very cool. Well, Greeny, it's time to summon the desert-dwelling dealmaker of Phoenix Sports Cards. He is the Sultan of Slabs, the breaker of boxes, the hobby's unofficial commissioner of chaos, a man who once pulled so much heat in a single break that the fire marshal asked him to cool it, and he refused. Please welcome the headband-wearing hurricane himself, Joe Wismierski.
Thank you for having me. No headband today. Again, just going with the standard ball cap.
But you're glowing. Nice. Look at that. You are absolutely glowing today.
Ball cap, Joe. There you go.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Pistons, Cavs. Go Pistons, right?
Well, go where? They're at home, so they do have the home
to the
court
next
advantage.
Round?
Maybe. They probably have Tarek Screwball on the sidelines watching the games. He's got nothing else to do.
There it is. There it is.
So
Yep.
listen, Jeremy brought up this GameStop, Cube, eBay. Like that's an awful lot of money that they put in, and I don't know. I know GameStop, right? I know they're kind of a big deal in this market now, but did you think that they have that kind of money?
So I heard a lot of interviews about this. No, I wasn't aware that they had that kind of money, but the CEO, I believe, really would like to be aggressive when it comes to like the space, and can see if an acquisition like this goes through, can see being a large competitor to Amazon is what honestly what his
So
vision is.
it, I looked at my guy here, Chat GPT, because I was curious where sports cards even rank as the top selling items on eBay, right? And I mean, GameStop, obviously, if you're going to buy eBay, you're getting everything. But like, I'm not even sure that sports cards are even in the really top percentage. I mean, it's auto parts, it's electronics and gadgets, clothing, shoes, accessories, cell phone accessories, health and beauty. Number six, video games. And that's where GameStop comes in. But like, uh, so to say that they're doing this just because of this space is really probably not accurate. The Amazon reference that you made is probably what they're looking at the eBay marketplace as.
Absolutely, and Amazon has I I would almost say Amazon was in with their marketplace from eBay, having so many individual sellers on eBay, has allowed Amazon to open up to not just be shipped and fulfilled by Amazon, but to be an Amazon preferred seller. And that's kind of what what eBay was known for is eBay didn't fulfill and buy everything. It just had preferred sellers, and you got that through your feedback and the stars rating. So good on them if they're able to make that happen. To me, that's not as big of news as the two gentlemen who are the top of the food chain for TKO Sports that also owns the UFC and WWE, who just purchased Collecticon. I think that's pretty wild, to see shows that are at that scale, and then having people move into the space because they do see the value there. Just seeing from the sheer volume numbers alone of people that attend these cons going forward, I can start to see people having more of a corporate kind of buy-in in the future, and I think that's something. I'm sure you guys can see it. There is not. I don't even know that there's been a show that has struggled to just be able to feed the dealers there. More
Right.
dealers that we hear, they're leaving saying, every time it was a great show. It
Yeah.
wasn't that people weren't buying. Our general manager here, he was just up. He was just up at the
Necessarily.
front row show up in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
and that show, he said, it wasn't a show that he was used to because everyone, the lowest that they would take would be 90 to 95% market for their cards. And they were getting it. Everyone, every table, that's what they were buying at. So to say that the market is dead or that it's stagnant, I think would be incredibly foolish. Not that anyone is saying that. To say that it's on the verge of, being too much, I think we could start to have that conversation. But there's no
I don't
shortage.
know.
The other big thing, Steve, to bring up, I don't know. I mean, coming off the heels of TC Greeny show, are you aware of the Kroger and Fry's stores that have these Pokemon machines? That they're
Uh,
vending machines?
so I know that there are machines around. I don't know the exact story that you're about to tell, but I do know that there are vending machines and occasionally there's fisticuffs at these vending machines.
Absolutely. And so what they did is they kind of they were able to make a change in the software so that it only released certain amounts of items at certain times. And
Hmm.
so then it would have people lingering around the store, and that's where people are starting to get a little bit, violent. But now Kroger, Fry's, all of these brands, they've had enough because they can't sit there and monitor. They love it. It's bringing traffic into their store. It has people that, occasionally buy some other items. But the story is now that they're looking to pull all of those machines out of these stores, which is crazy.
It's crazy, but I don't know that you can blame them. I mean, if it's causing too much, like, sure, it brings people in, and I'm sure they make a percentage of everything that sells in there. But what's really the cost of that, right?
Yeah, and Steve, I would be even shocked if they really did make a percentage because it just sits at the exit, at the front of the store. They could argue that it's bringing people in, number one, and number two, they're selling these items. It is the Pokemon retail. Like, there's no markup it right at the market. And so we experience calls constantly where people are calling in and they're like, well, what are you paying for on this? What are you paying for on that? Um, they're just buying it to try to resell it at the market. And it's a constant explanation to people that have no interest in the cards of, if you're trying to sell it to me at what I'm going to sell it for, it doesn't work. It can't work.
No, it
So,
doesn't. Right. No, I get it. I get it. But the amount of people that don't know that, they see the machine and they feed their money right in.
absolutely. And you are seeing, there's no secret to it, but you're seeing the constant like flow of people going to Facebook Marketplace and how excited people are to buy things on the Facebook Marketplace. But you talk about, a possible safety issue or non-regulation. We see cards come in all the time, especially with Pokemon, fakes, absolute fakes, because they're out there.
Yeah, that's a shame. I don't know if you saw last week. I made a post of fake patch cards that I bought. Didn't know that they were fake. They looked really good. I I try not to buy a lot of the stuff that I don't really have knowledge of, right? Like, I wouldn't know a fake Charizard from a real one. I mean, I need help with that. I can tell a real Jordan, right? I mean, you bring me an
Mhm.
86 Fleer Jordan, I tend to think I'll know. Yeah, those are fake patches. I bought those maybe a year ago. I mean, they look good to me. So I got fooled on that one, but um, I bet you there's fake Pokemon cards that are in PSA holders.
There probably is, which is crazy. I mean, I bought a One Piece card offline and I thought it was a great deal. It arrived. It was one of those cases that just pops right open.
Mm.
It was a PSA case with the label super glued on the outside. And I was like, are you kidding me? And then I go ahead and I touch the card. The card felt just like any other One Piece card I've ever held before. I couldn't believe it.
It's what it is. These people that are making these are making them really good.
Yeah, it's a struggle.
No, Jeremy, he's on mute. He's saying real important stuff and nobody can hear him.
Yeah, I was saying they're genuine artists, except they don't use their powers for good. Unlike our guest who will be coming up here in a little bit, Andy Friedman, who inspired this week's question of the week. Joe, we'll throw this at you as well. What card or collectible stands out to you as a work of art? And while Joe's pondering that, we encourage all you out there in the interwebs to participate as well. Drop your comments in the section. Let us know what stands out to you as a piece of art, not just commerce in the collectible space.
I mean, I hate to go this route. I'm not going to go sports, but I'm going to go with the TCG stuff. I love the Van Gogh Pikachu. I love it. I love the Van Gogh Pikachu. The fact that it was just a basic promo card and how great that is. Dude, it's cool. And if you see any of the poncho cards, the poncho Pikachus where he's wearing different ponchos of different characters. I mean, those are fun cards. They're absolutely fun cards. And then you see kind of the scroll down. I think it was an upper deck set. Greeny, you would know better. It had Jordan, and it looks like an animated comic, and they have the card with Jordan Bird on it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But Upper Deck also did these chronology cards. They're called like Timeless Moments, and they were like a canvas card, and some of them came to autograph. And man, they're like iconic pictures, right? And as a full art or a poster. And I'll ask Andy, some of the things that caught his attention on why he created different cards. I mean, it's because of the iconic pictures, right? And those can turn into art.
Agreed.
All right, Joe, we appreciate you joining us as you do every week as our hobby insider, and let everybody know where they can find you both online and in person.
Well, Jeremy, I hope you feel better, because it sounds like you have a cold or you're getting over a cold, but I want you to feel better. Let that be known that you
Joe.
don't go unnoticed.
It's giving me a radio
okay?
voice, though.
Do you think we can get him some Jerry honey? Can we get him of any Jerry's honey?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. Jerry's been real busy lately, so possibly. But you can find us at 59th and Thunderbird, Phoenix Sports Cards, also online at PHX Sports Cards. And then you can find me Mondays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Sports Card Confessions on the Sports Cards Nonsense Network.
You do a great job there. You confess quite a bit. I enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, Joe. And good luck tonight, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, go Pistons. And take care, Tarek Skubal.
Take care of them.
On that note, thanks, Joe. All right, Greeny, before we get to Card Show Live and Andy Friedman coming up, we do want to thank one of our other sponsors here, Giannino's Pizzeria.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm a year older now, so Mommy can give me Giannino's pizza. Hey, whoever thought of making a great tasting Giannino's pizza with all these fresh ingredients? They gotta be some kind of genius. More, Mommy.
Every Giannino's pizza is made with fresh dough, delicious tomato sauce without additives or preservatives, and fresh provolone cheese shredded daily. For a location near you, go to Gianninos.com.
You want a piece of me?
Yeah.
We do. If you are anywhere near Ohio, check out one of their multiple locations in the state for the best pizza, wings, salad dressing, and sandwiches as well. So, Greeny, there are no shortage of shows across the country. It seems every week there are more and more conventions, but let's take everybody around the country in Card Show Live.
Welcome on into this Cinco de Mayo edition of Card Show Live, where we're going to take you around the country and preview some of the hottest card shows that we can find. Starting here in Northeast Ohio, the Kirtland Show is this Saturday, May the 9th. Kirtland Show, where everybody knows your name, with a little different twist. We have an after-show trade night at Cards in the Land right down the road in Chagrin Falls. So make sure you come this Saturday, May the 9th. It's actually going to be a packed show. We actually have tables in the hallway. It's going to be that busy. Sports and TCG, which we like to do at this show because it is a smaller community show. So like a little over 40 tables, but we have the gym packed and we have people in the hallway. So this Saturday, May the 9th, we'll catch you in Kirtland and then at the after trade night at Cards in the Land. From there, we're going to go down to Kenny's Collectibles in Austin, Texas, which I reached out to him because I wanted to find out a little bit more about the show. I didn't get a response yet, but I did some research and it looks like they have a card show inside the store. Bat City Collectibles Sports Card Show. It's small, but from what I gathered, reading some other posts and checking on some Facebook and Instagram things, you do get a good turnout for this. And looks like Kenny there has his people while supplies last. So if you're anywhere in the Austin, Texas area, which is a pretty bustling state or city in Texas, check out Kenny's Collectibles Saturday, May 9th for that show. In Newark, Delaware, also on Saturday at the Ramada Inn has 40 tables. And Delaware, a lot of banking goes on in Delaware. It's the home of Wilmington, Delaware, where there's a ton of that. So we know that there's a lot of money in that area. So the Newark Sports Card Show, Saturday, May the 9th, $2 admission, and you can see, 40 tables. But, being in the close proximity to the other states, I imagine that they get some really good traffic at this show. And from there, we're going to go to Connecticut, a little north of Delaware, to Orange, Connecticut, where Karen Riso has a show at the American Legion. Not big, but this is what we focus on, a lot of the small community shows. So 50 tables, and these are the shows that we like to go at when we travel out of state, where we're going to the local shows. So 50 tables at Orange, Connecticut. Karen Riso runs that show 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you can check out that Facebook page, all the dates that they have for the rest of the year. And then the last show that we want to check out this year is at the Washington Dulles Marriott Suites. Doughboys Promotions has this show, and actually responded to some of the questions I asked. And they've been doing this at the Herndon location. This is the 9th show that they have put on. It's grown to 70 tables with people coming really from Southern Maryland, Northern Virginia, and a lot of the people in there. That's near the Chantilly area. So you have Herndon, you have Leesburg, and all the areas in there. Blowout Cards is right down the road. Our friends, plenty of people that have big presence in that area go to this show. There's a real good pinball store there as well, so you want to check that out. But that is in Herndon, Virginia. And with that, those are the 5 quick hit shows that we wanted to check out around the country. And hopefully you had some show and enjoy the cards this week for the Cinco de Mayo week. And that is this edition of Card Show Live.
Great stuff as always, Greeny. There is no shortage of shows to attend around the country. So really excited for our special guest this evening, Greeny. He is one of the most distinctive creative voices in the hobby working today. Andy Friedman is a nationally recognized illustrator, writer, and musician whose artwork has appeared in The New Yorker, The New York Times, Rolling Stone, and on some of the most beloved Topps card inserts of the modern era. He is the artist behind Topps' acclaimed Spotlight 70 and Spotlight 72 sets, known for their hand-drawn portraits, nostalgic storytelling, and a style that blends Americana humor and deep baseball soul. Beyond cards, Andy is an accomplished singer-songwriter with multiple albums, national tours, and a devoted following across the folk and Americana scene. He is a true crossover disciplinary creator, part illustrator, part musician, part storyteller, and one of the most unique artistic voices shaping the modern hobby landscape. And it is our pleasure to welcome in Andy Friedman.
Hey guys,
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for
Good.
that lovely introduction.
You're taking a little bit of a break from music to join us. We do appreciate it, and we know we're going to catch you a couple times next week in Charleston. But wanted to get you on and talk a little bit about. Yeah,
I'm still doing the music. I'm just talking with you guys right now. It never stops.
No. But yeah, we can't wait to see you in Charleston for cards and also music. So you're going to be doing double duty in Charleston next week. But before we get to the music, we'll talk a little bit about the cards. And you've created over 300 cards in collaboration with Topps.
6 actually.
What's that?
Actually, over 600.
600 cards.
Yeah, you mentioned Spotlight 1 and 2, and that was 21 and 22. But then 2024, we did Spotlight Baseball. 2025, Shoebox Treasures.
It is quite remarkable. When did you kind of get the feel of creating baseball cards onto canvas or portrait or however you do that?
2 of the cards in the 2022 Spotlight 2 set I drew when I was 12.
Wow.
That would be the Alan Trammell base card and the Thurman Munson base card in that set. I drew them when I was 12 on both sides of an index card after soccer practice when I was 11 or 12. And when I was 11 in Magic Marker. I didn't know who the players were at the time. I hadn't really opened my eyes to baseball yet. So it was really more about, I heard what you were saying before about what's your, card is art. Like, I think we all have permission to, the answer to that is like completely subjective. What might be art to someone might not be art to someone else. So like these cards give us the permission for anyone to call any one of them a masterpiece if that's what they want, whether they know about who the player is or not. Some of the earliest cards I was attracted to, again, I hadn't been following the game yet, so I was more attracted to like the blurry radio towers in the back of a, let's say, 81 Topps Rick Peters. Like reminded me of a radio tower that would flash in the distance when I used to visit my grandpa's condo in North Miami Beach, Florida. So those kind of nostalgic triggers, you never know where they're going to come from. And that's what originally led me to drawing these cards, which actually led me to the game, oddly enough.
I read in one of the articles, I was doing a little research that you actually were looking at the backs of the cards, and the cards told a story, and that kind of helped you in this process.
Well, yeah, they did. So the earliest ones I did on an index card, besides the two I mentioned, was a 79 Lance Parrish, an 81 Pedro Guerrero, and yeah, I did the fronts and the backs. So the back, I didn't know what the numbers meant, but I knew they told a story. And my favorite statistical story as I grew up and learned more about baseball, now we're talking 86. That's how my eyes opened, because I'm born and raised Long Island. So that now we have the 86 Mets. So I was collecting WWF cards and Garbage Pail Kids and Wacky Packages, which were really the first art cards of their kind in a certain way. And wasn't interested in the baseball cards as much. My cousin gave me a big box of cards, so like that's cool. I had those. But when you suddenly wanted to start collecting all the 86 Mets, that's how it started. And then Schmidt, we spent our summers in the Poconos, so we got all the Phillies games. So Schmidt became my favorite player because of the rookie season that I learned he had, the dismal rookie season that was evident on the back of his 86 card. So you have all these solid numbers every year, but this first year you got an awful lot of strikeouts and a very low batting average, and he certainly wasn't the star. And I related because I had just struck out every at bat in Little League my first year. So I was sort of feeling a kinship to like, wow, you can have a really bad rookie year and then come back the next year and lead the league in home runs, maybe 3 years in a row, like Mike Schmidt. So that was like a story in numbers that was inspiring to me, hopeful in every way. So he became my favorite player. Mets became my favorite team. When the two played each other, I hoped Schmidt hit 2 home runs and then the Mets won. But yeah, that's how I feel about all that.
Andy, you're both a visual artist and a musician. Your art has appeared everywhere from the New Yorker to Rolling Stone. What's the connective thread between those worlds, and how does one discipline influence the other?
Interesting. I went to art school. I studied to be a painter. I studied Renaissance painting techniques. I made a vow as a fine artist. What's the difference between a fine artist and an illustrator? Well, neither one is, above or below the other, but factual difference. An illustrator works to realize the creative vision of the client. The fine artist works to settle an internal dialogue. And the kicker here is whether anyone ever sees the work or not. So that is the kind of artist I always felt I was. And so I thought, to be paid to draw was something I was never going to do. I made a vow as a fine artist and a painter at the Rhode Island School of Design painting major. I will never accept money to draw because I was afraid it would, harm my integrity as an artist. So fast forward, I was working at the New Yorker magazine. I was 23 years old. I was sort of working for the office manager. So I was running errands, making sure everyone had supplies, giving out the mail, all that kind of stuff, subbing in for people when they were absent. My painting professor was also a illustrator for the New Yorker, and his student was one of his was the art director. So when I was in college and I was working for 2 years on one painting because I was a complete perfectionist, trying to and succeeding to paint like, in the techniques of Vermeer. My professor was like, you should probably think about doing some illustration. I saw those caricatures of sports figures that you used to do in high school with the big heads. You could make some money doing that, and I could send them to the New Yorker, see what happens. And I thought, man, I don't ever want to do that. But like if I ever need my professor's help, like getting a gallery or being in the fine art world, I shouldn't be swatting away offers for him to help. So I took half a day and I drew caricatures in black and white ink of Tom Petty, Coolio, Tori Amos, and Lou Reed. Never, he sent them off to the art director. Never heard another thing till I was pushing on the mail cart. And I was playing on the softball team. I hit home runs on the softball team. I made friends fast. And they're like, aren't you the kid that we have these drawings of yours here? And she pulled them out. How'd you like to draw for us? I said, no. I have too much integrity. I vowed never to draw for money, and kept pushing the cart. And the associate art director came running down the hall. He's like, I mean, this is a noble profession that you're involved with right now, but you say you want to be a painter. I'm presuming you're working here to earn the money so that you could buy art supplies and pay for your rent. Yes, exactly. Well, I mean, we pay the same amount that you get all week to do all this other stuff if you just draw one face. So why don't you just take the money and buy paints, because paints are expensive. And I thought, wow, that actually makes a lot of sense. So I decided at that moment to kind of make a new vow and sort of be the Robin Hood to my fine art career. So, one is artistic expression. The other, as soon as you artistically express, you're reined in. It is a job, and I did a really good job at it. My hero was Bruce Stark. I see there's a company now, 500 something. They're taking all his old Salem screen printer characters from the 90s. I don't know if you remember those amazing. Oh, well, look at that. I'm wearing one right now. Look, Bo Jackson. Remember these? I have every one of these still. Anyway, he was my hero. So I thought, I could do that, But as soon as you start to kind of like express yourself as an illustrator, they rein you in. All good. There are worse jobs. So the discipline really was, I applied my fine art abilities and my study of academic principles of drawing to draw, high-minded characters of cultural luminaries, and paid the bills for 20 years. It wasn't until the Tops thing that I was able to really essentially retire from illustration and put it in the past. Because what did I always want as a fine artist? To paint what you want and be lucky enough to have collectors supporting that. It's exactly where I find myself right now. I just never dreamed it would happen in this amazing space, because this is the first art world I ever got involved in, which is baseball card world. Basement of the Nassau Coliseum Motor Inn, every once a month. And that's where I learned, that's where I really honed my appreciation for every card. It almost didn't matter which one. They're all so beautiful to me. The color of the film, I call it like the psychology of the card. Sometimes it's the expression mixed with the color of the 82 banner, and the Tops cards, the colors that they pick sometimes buzz in all different kind of ways. So I was just like, my favorite art museum in the world. Obviously, the more I knew about the game, the more interesting it became. And also it's where I learned how to kind of like look people in the eye and be a business person and negotiate. And you see all the kids doing that these days. It's amazing. It's a great playground for that, for all of us, really. So, and here I am now, like painting what I want. And I'm so, grateful to the collectors for their interest in it and their support. And it's the oldest exchange in cultural history almost. You have the artist and the collector. So we're both sort of, I don't know, indebted to each other. We both, there's one I did when I was 12. So it's a beautiful exchange, I keep painting and traveling and visiting card shops and card shows, and the collectors, remain interested in the work, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I get to go to card shows. So anyway, I
Yeah.
hope it answers your question.
It's amazing. Like, and I look at some of these, and how do you pick and choose which cards that you're going to illustrate?
Well, okay, that's interesting. In the beginning, the first two sets, I mean, I came up with the checklist. So I wanted to draw as many cards from my own personal collection, shoebox cards, as I call them, as I could. And how I always say this still, people ask me, how do you choose what cards to paint? I mean, unless Topps is suggesting a particular card, which they started doing in the third and fourth sets, which I completely welcomed, because their list of cards they want to see me draw is like being given a shoebox. I would never have thought to paint the back of one of those sticker book, Superstar 1990
Right.
Dave Stewart. But it was a great impression of the kind of card I would pick. So it was a great, it's almost like I went through all their suggestions. What I did was I just went out and bought all those cards. I never draw from my phone. I must have the card in my hand. And I turn them over, and it's like each one is a surprise. As soon as I pull them out, I see it and I start painting it. Unless Topps is suggesting it, I like to say these cards find me. I don't find them. They find me. I walk around these shows, and maybe sometimes you got a whole row of dollar cards parted like the Red Sea, and there you have like a Paul Blair looking up at you, and it's maybe a particular, color blue like that gets you. And I just know that it was meant for me, and that's pretty much how. And if Topps doesn't have the rights to reproduce some of the names, then they don't make it into the set. But like,
Sure.
that's sort of secondary, I think of it like, how does a landscape painter choose which sunset to paint? It's like you feel it. So
You just said something very, very interesting to me, that you actually buy the card, you use that to create it. You don't put it up on your computer or your phone. What's the most expensive card you had to buy?
Jackie Robinson 56.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a second year. Yeah, it's not a cheap card. Yeah.
I bought it in a PSA 3.5. No, SGC. No, I don't remember. I wish I had it with me. I'm at the studio and I'm at a little cabin. But so okay, here's another thing. I paint. I like to hold the card. I don't like to paint even from a slab. I don't like to do that. I like to get they get all dirty. They get ink all over them. So what I started doing, I got a rubber stamp, and it says used by artist as reference, and I stamp it on the front, and I sign them each, Andy, one of one, and I put them away. So I actually have complete sets of all the kind of reference cards. And over the years, sometimes I'll include it when someone buys a paint. I'll be like, Bob Horner hits 4 home runs, Fleer. Hey, look, I actually have the reference card here. So collectors have caught on to some of those. But yeah, to me, once I sort of suck the life out of it, it doesn't suit me anymore as a card. It's like a different thing. It's a reference card. And so if I want that card again, I got to like buy it again, like Hank Aaron's 76. That's my favorite, one of my favorite baseball cards. I got one as a reference card, and then I still have to have another one in my binder. So, I'll have to go out and find it. But that's, yeah. So so with the Jackie though, I really had to make a decision. And I almost regret it, but I decided, I don't want to quote unquote mess this one up. So I painted it holding the slab, and it's tough because that card is still in with all my slabbed cards, and it just doesn't feel right because I know I painted it. So it's like I suck the life out of it. If I want to really appreciate having that card, I have to kind of like get it again. And so I wish I did paint a Gretzky rookie without the slab, and so it's got ink all over it, but it was already in like awful condition. But I probably paid more for it now that I think about it than the 3.5 Jackie. So there you go, those two, Wayne Gretzky rookie and a Jackie 56. My hope is that, I don't know, maybe these become interesting down the line. I was sharing this idea with one of my kids when they were younger. I'm like, I was talking about the reference card idea, and they're like, I don't get it. Like, you ruin the card. Like, well, you could think of it that way, but like, let's just say Pablo Picasso did a whole series of baseball cards, hold each one in his hand, and got ink all over it and signed each one. Like, wouldn't that be interesting? He goes, yeah, but you're not Picasso.
On
So,
your way.
Never know.
Yeah.
Andy, you have made a life out of expression, though, whether it's the art and the canvas or music, which you're passionate about as well. Talk to us a little bit where that inspiration comes from on the music side, and segue that into what's going to be going on in West Virginia with Mountain Stage.
Okay, sure. Yeah, thanks. Well, as I mentioned, I mean, I'm a recovered perfectionist. I used to study, like I said, like Renaissance painting techniques, old masters. So, if you weren't walking past my painting thinking it was a photograph, then I wasn't happy. Music was a dive into the complete other side of that. I never touched a guitar till I was like 30. If you want to hear my first attempt at singing, that's my first album. I waited a little less than a year after I learned my first chords on guitar to get into a recording studio, recycled a lot of lyrics from rejected cartoons that I submitted to the New Yorker, and turned those a lot into many of my first songs on my first record, and just like thought I'm real into country and country blues music for its authenticity. Especially, it gave me permission to not have to go to Juilliard or be Frank Sinatra to sing. It's all about what Johnny Cash says, 2 chords and the truth. 2 chords are easy. It's the truth that's the hard part. And so, I estimated that like giving it my best shot would be at worst interesting. So, that's what I did. So music was like an exploration in, total vulnerability, really, and leaving your tracks. And live performance, forget it. This, the first time I ever did that, I was visiting my folks in Florida, and I told you I was 30 years old. I'm in New York, so I took my guitar down on the plane and went to an open mic night in Fort Lauderdale, where I knew I wasn't going to know anybody, and I played one of the songs I'm actually going to end up playing on Mountain Stage on next week. But it's like, don't think it wasn't scary. It's totally scary, but that's kind of like, why I did it. So that's my relationship with music. Obviously, that's where it starts. It progressed from there. I didn't consider myself a musician back then. I was more of like, I felt like a performance artist, still coming to it from a perspective of being a painter, but I don't anymore. I'm a musician now when I play music, also an artist, but I mean, there's something else happening now. And so, but that's how that happens. The other thing is, I like to be an artist that doesn't just carry one tool in the toolbox. So, being the kind of Renaissance painter that I was means you need to have like 12 to 16 hours, like all day to work, because it used to take me 2 or 3 hours just to kind of mix my paints. Well, what happens when you're in the car? You can't be an oil painter when you're in the car. So I didn't want to ever not be an artist. So started writing poems and walking around with Polaroid cameras, just exploring all different kinds of ways. There's got to be more than one way to kind of like express yourself. And I found that songs were something you could literally write in your sleep or as you're going to sleep. And I thought that was really exciting. The portability of writing songs was very attractive to me. And the travel, so you get to like go right in front of people and play, and there are these communities everywhere you go. I mean, I didn't feel that again until I started touring as a, tops artist, going to card shows. It felt very much like, okay, so I used to put out records and perform and be there and meet the people, like bring it to where they are, because that's always where I loved, because Norman Rockwell was actually, besides Bruce Stark, one of my favorites, because of not only that he was also a master of Renaissance painting techniques, but for the way he reached the American people. On the cover of the Saturday Evening Post, plopped down on a living room table. I don't think you should have to, go to Chelsea or the Lower East Side or anywhere else in the city to like appreciate art. I don't think that's how it works. So the card thing, gave me that. It was really like gave me a chance to be a touring painter as well as a kind of musician performer, as well as card collector. So yeah, I mean that's how that all fits together. I might have veered off a little bit, but that's how I see it.
So we know that on Friday and Saturday you'll be at the Mountain State
Yeah,
Collectors Convention. You'll have your works of cards and art on display, and then Sunday, your band you'll perform at the Mountain Stage Center there on Sunday.
that's
So
right.
kind of the best of both worlds, right? You're gonna have the cards on
Unbelievable.
Friday, Saturday. You're gonna have music on Sunday.
It's mind blowing. I'm so excited. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be amazing. Um, yeah, I mean, it's everything. Literally everything comes together, and I'll have all my friends around me, because when you're in a band, it's like being on a baseball team. It really is. There's so much cross pollination and all that. Um, but yeah, so I'll have all that, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to meeting the collectors in Charleston. I haven't been to Charleston as doing the baseball card thing, so that's exciting. I was fortunate enough and thrilled and honored to play Mountain Stage back in 2008 with my old band, and then the Empty Glass after, which I guess we'll be doing this time too. That's where I met the fabulous Carpenter Ants, who are some members of the house band there at Mountain Stage, but they like to rip it up in Charleston. Great guys.
Very good. Well,
Yeah.
we're looking forward to seeing you here very soon, Andy. Let everybody know in the meantime where they could find more of your work online and on social.
Yeah, thank you. Well, yeah, my web address is my name, andyfriedman.net. .com is, I think, a lawyer who likes to fish in Florida. And my Instagram handle is Sunday Friedman, like the day of the week, not the dessert.
Well, listen, very good. We appreciate it. We can't wait to get you down there Friday, Saturday at the Mountain State Collectors Convention, and then Sunday at Mountain Stage. So,
I can't
Andy, we
wait.
appreciate your time. We know that you're about to do a little more practicing for next week, so I'll let you get back to that.
Thank you guys so much. Really great talking with you. Thanks for chatting with me.
Cool. See you next week.
Our pleasure.
All right.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks.
I had to write this down, Greeny. He said 2 chords are easy. The truth is not. I love that. That's terrific. So
That is.
our thanks to Andy Friedman for joining us for an extended interview this evening. Thanks to Joe Wismirski, our hobby insider, for joining us. Thanks to Haley on the board. And thanks to all of you for tuning in and continuing to check in with us every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern as we continue to go live. Lots coming up. Check out greenysportscards.com for all the upcoming shows and information. Greeny, may the cards forever be in your favor.
Thanks. Yeah, we can't wait for next week. Charleston is a terrific city, like you said earlier, the historic district, and the venue is terrific. The Charleston Convention and Coliseum is absolutely wonderful. Great host for the show. So we can't wait. The Mountain State Collectors Convention, Charleston Dirty Birds game, and then Andy Friedman's band on the Mountain Stage Sunday. So great weekend. A week from next week. This week, enjoy your local card shows, and we will see you next Tuesday.